here live.
Houston, the beautiful Houston. All right, Safari Jeffries,
Agent Safari MJ reporting live. I am currently
in Houston, Texas. Today, tomorrow, technically,
in 30 minutes. Today
will be March 10th, 2023. And my client, Chris Boudreaux,
phenomenal wide receiver, great hands, great route running, exceptional speed, will be performing in his pro day at Rice University. So I want to make sure I'm here to support him fully, to make sure that we touch as many scouts as possible, to ensure that he gets an opportunity at one of the clubs.
Ideally, I've said in previous videos that I would love for every one of my guys to be drafted, but I have to be realistic. And for me, that is a bit of realism, that there is a potential that all of them may not be drafted, but I'm going to make sure I try my hardest to get my guys on the 53-man roster.
So during this time of the year, of course, we are in March, spring. This is the height of pro day season. A lot of pro days have already started this week, and they will probably continue until I'd say, the first week in April,
or maybe even second week in April. There may be some. I didn't look at the dates for all of them, but this is the first stop for me. This is the first pro day stop for me, right here in the beautiful Houston, Texas.
This is my third time being here in the past 2 months. And so yeah, we're trying to bring it home. We're trying to knock it out of the park. When I started recording these videos, I wanted to make sure that I was providing as much information as possible for those who are aspiring to be agents and current agents. And this is just a way for myself to remind myself that during this time period in 2023, on March 10th, March 9th, March 10th, I was in Houston and I went to my client's pro day. So it's kind of a memento for myself to remind myself that all the hard work that has gotten me to this point, it is coming to fruition. And so I'm glad to see it happen for Chris. I'm going to be excited for him tomorrow. I want to make sure I'm there to support fully.
He's been training hard. He's been working on the different drills that you guys will see at combines and pro days. He's been working on those various drills. He's looking really good in the vert. He's looking really good in the 40 time, of course, because he has a smaller frame. So of course he's going to be a very speedy guy. And so I have no doubt in my mind that he will do an amazing job in the 40.
He will also do an amazing job in the broad jump. So we're hoping, and we're going to go in prayerful. We're going to, put good vibes in the air to make sure that my guy, CB, does an exceptional job. If you've been checking out my videos, you know that this has been a fun journey from, seeing the actual certification to experiencing what it's like to recruit to now
be in the height of pro day season. And before then, checking out some of the all-star games. So this is the normal cycle for a lot of agents every year. And after my pro day cycle,
which, I'm thinking there's going to be about, I'd say maybe five more pro days. And I may try to squeeze in a couple pro days where I don't have clients, because I just want to go, see how it's run, network, and things of that nature. So I got a couple of those on my schedule, so I may squeeze in some additional pro days there.
But as for myself and my clients and their pro days, I have roughly about six pro days to attend. My next pro day will be University of Maine, and I also have UTEP, University of Texas El Paso, on my schedule. So those will be next in line, and then after that, I have Boise State, potentially Virginia Union, and I may be attending North Carolina State. Go Wolfpack. So yeah, this is an exciting time. If you guys are unaware of what it is to be an agent, there's a lot of travel involved in this industry. I think for the next cycle, what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually make out or determine what type of budget I'm going to have just specifically for flights and hotels and rental cars and eating on the road. I mean, all these things factor into what it takes to be an agent financially, from a financial perspective. So keep this in mind when you're thinking of entering into this industry.
You have to consider the constant travel, the constant hotel room stay. The eating on the road is not something that I'm too fond of, because I feel like foods out on the road have a lot of high calories. So you gotta keep that in mind. You gotta also keep in mind that it is imperative for you to network with scouts and personnel people, because at the end of the day, they're gonna help you get your client onto a roster. I mean, it's really gonna be them helping you, or them pulling the strings per se, to get your guy on a roster. So if I would have known this to what degree, then I would have been a lot more proactive in building more scouting relationships and personnel relationships early on, even before being certified, because those relationships will definitely come in hand when you decide to represent your first couple players.
So yeah, it's been a good time. Houston is always cool. I definitely would love to be at home right now, but this is what the job entails. This is duty calling, and so we gotta get an early start tomorrow. It's probably gonna be maybe, I'm thinking I'll probably get up at about 7:30 ish.
I try to get to campus around about I'd say 8 or so, just to get just to be there for my guy. I want to make sure he's well prepared. I want to make sure he's not too eager and not too nervous about the idea that this is pretty much a job interview. This is pretty much a job interview for the NFL, and so scouts are going to be there. I've already had a couple scouts confirm that they are going to be in attendance, and if not themselves, they're a representative from the team will be in attendance. So this is a job interview. This is a job interview for him, and I think he's ready for it.
I think really all of my guys are ready. So I'm excited for them. This is a great step in the right direction for these guys. All the guys that are going to be performing
tomorrow at the pro day. So yeah, this is what it's about. This is the agent life. Please tap in with me. I'm on Instagram, Agent Safari MJ, or Sports Agent _SMJ, whatever it is. I can't really remember it, but I'm also on Facebook, Instagram. If you have questions, of course I do my questions with an agent session. I'm gonna get back to that as soon as I get over this pro day hump. I'm gonna get back to that. We're gonna start gearing up for the draft after this cycle of pro days. Prepare for the draft. There's going to be a lot of work for that. I'm not going to Cleveland for the draft. I'm actually going to be at home in Georgia for the draft. because of course, duty calls. Ideally, an ideal scenario would be me just getting a bunch of phone calls from my guys, and so I want to be prepared for that, and I feel like I can, do a pretty good job with that back at home in Georgia, not necessarily in Cleveland, because I think that's where the draft is this year. So yeah, and then after the draft, I'm gonna take a little break, maybe a week or 3 days or so. Maybe go somewhere, I don't know. Maybe go somewhere, I'm thinking, or maybe not. Maybe I'll just avoid a plane altogether and just stay at home. And then take a week or 3 days to a week. And then I'll think about my recruiting strategy for 2024. I'll also be doing, miscellaneous stuff for the guys I currently represent. Because that's important as well. I want to make sure that those guys have everything that they need, if they're, moving on to the next level. I mean, they're all going to move on to the next level to some extent, whether it's NFL or XFL or USFL or CFL. So I want to make sure that those guys have everything that they need. So, of course, they're always going to have access to me because they have my cell phone directly. And, I work late hours, so I'm always up. So yeah. But yes, after April, maybe going into May, it's going to be a focus on my recruiting strategy for 2024. I'm certified in Carolina, Alabama, and if you don't know, and I'll break this down quickly, but if you don't know, once you get certified by a league, well, I can't speak for the NBA, but with the NFL, once you're certified by the NFLPA, you have the overall certification for the NFLPA, but then there's another level to that where you have to do the registration process for each state that you plan on representing players in, and there's a strategy behind that I actually implemented. I didn't really actively recruit players in states where I didn't think that I was going to get guys, but if I happen to, have a correspondence or, reach out to a guy and he happens to be in a state where I'm not registered, then I had to go through the due diligence and do the process for registration for that particular state, and then I was able to represent the player. So agents and guys, people who want to be agents, you got to understand that once you get the main certification from the NFLPA, you have to then take it a step further and handle the registration process for each state that you plan to represent players in. And so I'm registered in, like I said, North Carolina, Alabama, Texas, West Virginia, where I don't have any players in West Virginia, Alabama, where I was recruiting guys, but I didn't really sign any guys from Alabama, North Carolina. So yeah, I think those are all the states I have right now, and that's fine for me. I don't want to be registered in every state because the fees for registrations pile up. So some of the registrations, they can either last for a year or they can last for 2 years, and some of the registrations you have to get surety bonds for the registration. So I've done that a couple times. So yeah, this is what you sign up for when you become an agent. Again, if you have any questions or anything, you want to know something, feel free, DM me. For those who have my cell phone number, you guys can text me. Anybody wants to know any of the inside ins and outs of what it's like to be an agent, I can kind of point you in that direction, or at least give you a little bit of insight on how it's been for me, because I'm relatively new in the industry. So yeah, checking in and about to check out because I got to get an early start in the morning, and I'll probably get some sleep here. So Agent Safari M. Jeffries, Sports Agent Safari MJ, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. It's late. It's always late. It's always late when I do these videos. So yeah, hit me up. If you guys need anything, I'm here for you. All right? Later.